Well, we can cross now to our BBC Arabic reporter, Mohamed Taha. Mohamed, really good to see you. That last point from the Prime Minister's office about who might govern Gaza City after this military action, can you explain what that means and how it might work?
Oh, that was a controversial issue for the whole duration of this war. Who is going to rule Gaza after the war? Of course, Israel and many Arab countries do not want Hamas to be ruling Gaza after what happened in October the 7th. And all of these months and negotiations were trying to find an alternative to Hamas in Gaza. So first Israel tried to convince Egypt to get involved, or the UAE to get involved. Israel also does not want the Palestinian Authority that is having some civilian rule on the West Bank to have a role in Gaza. And at some point, if you remember, Benjamin Netanyahu kind of convinced President Trump, the American president, to take control of Gaza and to transfer it to a Riviera in the Middle East, which is a plan that is faded out a little bit. Now Israel decided to take control of Gaza themselves and to have military control of the Strip, and also to have this civilian authority on Gaza. It is not clear if this civilian authority will be an Israeli authority, or Israel will try to bring back some of the old alternatives and try to involve Egypt or any other country.
Just bring us up to speed on why, this suggestion that maybe Arab nations could help govern has been rejected, and what countries like Jordan and Egypt think about the entire situation.
Of course, Egypt and the President Sisi did a couple of speeches, unusual speeches in the previous days, indicating that this plan of occupying Gaza is very dangerous for the region. It will cause massive amount of civilian deaths, and it will cause a kind of chaos in the region, and will threaten the lives of the Israeli hostages that are high likely to be hidden in these areas that Israel wants to occupy. Also, Jordan does not want to involve themselves in being in direct confrontation, if I may say, with Hamas. Removing Hamas from Gaza as a ruling authority is a very difficult task, and Israel and even the chief of staff of the Israeli army is putting an estimation of 2 years to be able to achieve that. That will mean that Israel might not witness elections next year. So it's not an easy task to have a civilian authority over Gaza, and even a harder task to involve other Arab countries or other authorities to help Israel in achieving that aim.
And Mohammed, of course, the humanitarian situation in Gaza is very dire. Our aid organizations are saying they're not getting enough aid in to sort of solve the problem of starvation and hunger. What does this mean for them? And also, what does it mean for the hostages that are left inside?
Indeed, it is massive impact on them. So imagine the city of Gaza and the refugee camps that are around it, like Al-Brej, Deir el-Balah, and Al-Nusayrat. These areas has more than 1 million inhabitants living there. So imagine that Israel, if they want to evacuate the city of Gaza by the 7th of October, the coming 7th of October, that means Gaza will witness hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to be displaced from these areas. Now we can see the starvation and the humanitarian situation and the chaos of distributing the humanitarian aid in Gaza at the moment. Imagine if 1 million people will be added to that chaos, how the humanitarian situation would be. I just heard the WHO is saying that there is 12,000 child under the age of 5 are facing the threat of death because of malnutrition. Yesterday, 5 children died in Gaza hospitals from malnutrition.
Okay, Mohamed Taha, really good to get your update on the situation. Mohamed Taha, our BBC Arabic reporter. If you're just joining us, we have breaking news. Israel's Security Cabinet has approved plans for the military to take over Gaza City, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians live. We have a live page running on our website. The proposal by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces opposition in Israel and abroad, with critics saying it will put Israeli hostages and more Palestinian civilians at risk. Do stay with BBC News for more.